Enyimire no sia kase boy braso sam hodo a ebu mfumpa wo ye memo ne yesa wotie ye nsantwafo akokina pe ye samfo falaso akogi abo wonya daje so de ama ya tenase ye bekenkan ede asom ye kase boy na information centers ahodo eso abafo kwanso ye sikafmonline.com Africana Radio ni Modern Ghana kase boy na mo Facebook live Sikka FM 895 live YouTube ye Sikka FM 895 official TikTok and Twitter ni nyina ye Sikka FM enyumre yi ensam hodo a ye de eba besom wono de di makotene bi ene say Mampani da John Dramani Mahama ya onukro yada eye Franka Krafo edema NDC amanyokono ade atu dwase Mampani na nado danko akufo san a won san anti LGBTQI+ bill no ni nyina eye sa ye dan kofo na saafo no ya san a wo mum ye sikenti ena mampani atwentwene na ase
na yebekoso na fere kase na kwa Deputy Health Minister hapan for Kodunyanfo Alexander akwasi akwano ne ni wakasa ne kase nyina jese Ghana ban wanhwe na federalism won sansem wonfa na no embremu bi
Onyanfo Alexander akwasi akwakro ya echesese nyame ye na dona ne nsaka adwuma na de wosre nyina ne se wosoafo na nkasa mu koboi wonfa mokyere nyina ahere nsakra ni baje pa
na yebefiri na fe yakonyamfo Dennis Miracle abwache presidential staff won ne ni wakasa so chese o manfo bi mu abibi nti wanya ntmachi won kase onipadie mu no Ghana ban abomode pa o so bokoso a adomaboa
ye ba ko konfa no chi teaching hospital doctor fo a wo hono e bon training se bibia nsaka wiem anadwe ya wochina wombeti atua senti wombeti atua no ye beka bi dia kire o
ye beko nyamfo ohene ba opoku ajiman bonsuo no ne municipal chief executive amekire MC diman kwabri isio ene woni amanfo bi no machia asoso adwensemu no nsem bebre no afrimu adiaba
enyimre nsem bi kan wonim ho ne yesinkonwa ye de ebesomo kase kwan so akenkan fo ne ye me mantie nua ba maame efum wa kafena mene
baramasam kofi dogla jidi ansanwo
ye go nya trakwan ne so aba ne nsem no ya bewuram
Sikka FM track wine yani yakro 89.5 Sikka FM
Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai
ne Ghana man ye wiase nyina ka ho afai ma yenwura esomne mo ankasa Mampani da John Dramani Mahama wonukro yada ena ye Franka Krafo edema NDC amanyoko no wodi wo manima wo him Franka ne paka fimpino ene aduoni na abatoi wono na ede wo mo ekra Mampani da John Dramani Mahama woguso a wo ba pro building the Ghana we want Ghana no ye pɛ no asese ye nyina da yesom na yesie ho aprobo ene wo kroi ne na probo mo ene wo kasa pa ne nsɛm ne bi ene sɛ afimpino ene aduoni na abatoi wo hwɛ NDC fo nyine anim so munya dwumade no mbeye ni nyine chi no esesa wo mo mani da ho da no ayeto aba no police station by police station wo bibia e basoma ne bia wo mo ni na ho sa abo wo onkonum ti wa bra wanyi biscuit biada na wo mutumi fankunim di emra ebi so ane se anti LGBTQI+ rubuturumo biri ya bampani na nado dan kwaku faro ehse enya medu ni table so ni table ni emeguso nyina nturumo biri ne nka ho afenso kra no obi de kokoto enti wo try the Supreme Court beka ansa eno de nsa ahase na ho kakra no ene mampani da John Dramani Mahama ehse na wa hede o na heda no twentwane na ase a wonim de entia na mpese wode ne nsa behe sa biri na ase na baba ya mra nyina ene se Ghana ye ne ye ho yankase ye hunso ya kwankro ye hunso ya dwade ya sresre sa ahwa kokrom kwan ye rigremu ye bibi kakra bia ne atam ye kra nye ni mobobo de ehwa no hwene no ye fudrodrodro na ase furuban ne akogina omo kwan no ayi mambie sanko ne ye eti sabiri wo mo so ye san pepa betia wo mo de o ma de o mo ye eyi wo mo de o fa mu de elele wo mo pe yesu ye mpei ni yesu ye ko mo kokosrei se mampani de nsa ha sie ya wo be ye dan no akwa kohwa wo be dan no akwa sre akwa ye mambie nkofo kuro so enti mambie no sre na ye sre no a siasan biri ni wie yentumi nko sre bi no enu nti ena JDM se mampani na nado ontumi mfa ne nsa anaso ompese wode ne nsa ebe he biri no ase yenti mampani da John Dramani Mahama
self-reliant, that's when people can dictate to you. If we were self-reliant, nobody would come and ask us to do this or to do that. And so one of the key economic policies we must pursue is one of self-reliance. And it's been done in this country before. For those of us who are old enough, remember General Ike Achampo's like Operation Feed Yourself, Operation Feed Your Industries. Self-reliance was the aim that this government was pursuing, so that we could be proud, dignified people because we're able to feed ourselves.
And yet, Mapanida John Dramani Mahama.
Abusiama ye free na fe ye fan call veti ho nsensemu na veti no a gusu aja yo to manfo bi no no Ghana mampani nana adodan kokufo do kopa wonfoforo ko na opa opani ba ko a didi ede Alexander Kwasi akwadunyanfo a no ko he deputy health minister wa pan foforo ko na numu no na mpomdi mo agesa obodin na edin a obo ye ne mpefo atrase na odo so na fo busa ne sa de hia na fata bia anka sa beti ambo na fe de dwumadi aso ahoro a wode ase ne sa omra na fo me mpomdi mo no me so for be de chema mpondia so animu no na mekonya konya sonko onaja nkwa ensebisa wodo pinu a wo be pempempem no busebusa no sa apani anya bia ade ne de na wo be tua ye ne mu no nya konya sonko ne kase bi ro kan ya opone nsem ba ko menu na tichu ene dalasi ho sesem ye chese ne ba ya mafo bedu a wona okọ ya patient mu no mfomoko na ye bo ho amane de chem sa renal patient fo masuasuasu a esema hiya mokoda so afi tumi bo mo na fo mpondi mu no bunya konya sonko no bunya mpondi mapano ne se da kema kwasa ban wonti nya ngo bibia na numu no pani sese na ke ade se Ghana man pani na na adodan go fodo woba na watu amboa na fo na sima na so abini mu bia na ke betu amboa pa da tumi amboa mamfo bi ma wona su onda sinu nyina wo atumi ahon ha wom edumu ana onyamfo Alexander Kwasi akwa pani ya pa na fofo kwa se deputy health minister wonko na fo nkodu mo apodua so edumu no kasa sia de ade ha won papa se ade Ghana ban etumi do mboa na fo abini mu na so obemu a na wotumi hwe masa no we nyina eso tema wo mu akasa ke betumi aboa na etumi aboma mpanwa aso ye no baby atumi akudi nemrako nya akonya sonko no kasa ne kasa mu na mpanfo busebusa nsa no ye mu no a opani we hu de che no cheche mu dinti na wo chese Ghana mampani nana adodan kokfa do mra no etumi aboa na dawesi etumi koso pa.
In the past we may not have given serious attention to this condition, and it would have been a condition that may be treated as for the bourgeois, for the big people. But now it's prevalent. Issues of dialysis everywhere. But it's so difficult to have dialysis operation in some of our smaller facilities. It's a specialized area. Even if you want to acquire the machinery, you need specialized personnel to be able to run it. And so, for a start, government intervention is needed so that as time goes on, we can create the enabling environment to get the private sector involved. So we avoid the crowding in most of the major facilities, because if we have been able to train specialized nurses and it's easier for us to have the machinery, then it becomes easier for people to have access to that service at a cheaper cost.
Opinion Tininki, one on the deputy health minister, upon for Korujan Alexander Kwasi Aquadi Bondia, a sending before the tuna no or ye committee Nimono, upon a committee no Yakunya so called Candalis and Semoma, as your Kunya so called renal patients for your mocho one, Yaboma Diademo, no Yakunya so called Chim, said Canaman Penny, Nana at Danko for Domra, then to one Bibia and to me and Coach Sabia. I'm grown good, you couldn't crab Bibia Moon, almost between young water for being at Nochi, and Yakunya so called so Casafa, Ed National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, you want some, and what just say, Kemagwa Prima Hodo Pino, Church, I didn't want no, net me one month, for Yakunya so cool, sound more than the age of Papa, Nakunya so cool, Nya, Mono, Yakunya Kuno, Casa so, NHIS, you want Casama Hodo Pino, or they call us any more, no, net more for baby, do one for so baby, Cano Iswa, the no sumbo, Yakunya so say, and Okadi, what just says Cabotin edition mono Iswa.
Over the period, we realized that funding has been a major issue. As much as government has tried to ensure that most of the indebtedness are cleared, healthcare is a daily thing. Almost every day, health insurance incur some level of indebtedness because of the daily attendance. And so we have to look at the funding of health insurance. The premium that we pay forms just about 3% of the total revenue generated. And now health insurance is battling with co-payments. It's a major issue. is battling with co-payments. And one of the things that must be looked at is the fact that we have to get the providers, based mainly the private ones, to come to terms with the fact that if co-payment is the thing that must be done, we have to come clear and start the conversation.
Busiani Betting King Deputy Health Minister Hapan for Kodunyan Alexander Akwesi Akwa Dunya Konya Sonkwa Ojo Chimu our health insurance nimu no NHS nimu sesema eja wojo chimu na fi woduma boa ojo se co-payment send ya obekwo na fi ko para na abekwo no se 1 cedi abekwo na fi no ebo hodo pidwa da so de ma wa na fi wontumi entua wakaso NHS ko atimi afa na fa de ntine bo se ni ade no che se se so nyina ba bankrum na sika hodo a odi chimu premier hodo gina no esusa papa panti penfo na fi wodo kwa se 32 ene omo a won ya nkwankwa dia ba ne se no a na zikatue mu akwa bibi no mra no mtra se na chef papa emra ne timi mo pomden asoye no
ya to akasebo no asunamom Alexander Kwesi Akwa ne nsem na mu na me so mi wura ene vetting committee no anim no minority leader Dr. Kase3 6Pm enso bisa ne co-sign efa mochre ahodo ya ewo man Ghana mu ha ho en wo ya no wo chese wono so kura wadwiri wo wonya me yeso afo be de che yenya mo ni din kura hono ni na ni hwe ho pa no onim se ya kan pomuden asoye no a eyeva se chese so pa ya da bia pomuden asoye bia etanya abedi akirefo mienu enti ne ya mampani abondin so o meka abedi akirefo no eho no ba bia na ni kire ba akokura eyeye mochire no ya honom ne de wo na kosana no yem no kasa osre wosre papa sanka onyanya dwuma no na so kompomde aso e hono a wosre woso afo na nkasa mu wono bo okoboy sanka wonfa mochire ni nyina nhye wono Alexander Kwesi Akwanza wochese nko beye mochire no mana ye fe wo Ghana hanom sei esa Ghana hanu asa mochire na wo ha ye esa ye yiyani ankra wo ni sika na wo nya na sase a no akokuru da gbenden no de so na wo ye mochire ejese e ho hyehyeye esa ono abo Kwesi Akwa se wan de adwuma no okoye mpomdi aso e hor ba bia de heaven sa na ni bagye ho na obema na ni akun no ye ye pa mochire ahodo wo man Ghana mu nti osere no abo okobwa so obai wo bedru nko de wonfa mochire no heaven sa yenti ono abo Alexander Kwesi Akwa.
You have said, and you said so much about the mortuary industry, and you said that some of the things you prioritize will be, if given the nod, will be for you to advise your minister on mortuaries. Will you mind if the mortuary, if granted that if you are approved, will you mind to be responsible for mortuaries and funeral agency? The agency, if you'll be made responsible.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll gladly take up that responsibility.
So you won't mind if you become Deputy Minister of Health responsible for mortuaries?
Mr. Chair, the ministry is a very vast one, and as I know, it's always had two deputy ministers, and so the various agencies are given to the deputy ministers. And of all that my minister would let me handle, I'm making a plea that he gives me the opportunity to handle the mortuaries.
That's impressive. They deserve the necessary dignity, and so I don't mind at all.
Mr. Chair, if I may add, this is the only industry that has two quotations in the Bible to support it. There's one that is said that it's appointed for man to die once, and so it's established. Then the other one, which I haven't seen the English rendition, but the Tree Bible will tell you that if you die and you are not buried well, an aborted child is even better than you. And to be buried well, you need to be kept well. So for people in the industry, these are two quotations we use.
We will start the advert. We'll start the advertising agency for the mortuary business too.
Honorable Alexander Kwesi Akwa Chumadam na she bedwani Honorable Kwesi wachiremai ena kasa no ena wachire se adwuma no upon dia wo hu nyina dia mane ni kura gine se adwuma ewo Bible quotation maku mienu akese mienu na ta adwuma yachi wase eso nipa so hu preko pe na wu agina temo ho atemo ne wanfa so hu preko pe ewo Bible afa second quotation na do nhyɛ da hu ne brofo no nti twi no na oye ne verbal translation kan ne brofo ho no say Bible say se wu na siensie wu here opomba kra ho wanfa so chen nti adwuma Bible quotation mienu ta akire ni minister ande bana knani ba jesse yento azwe wajuma Bible quotation tachire
Bible quotation bi antachire
ne ko pejuma
Bible quotation tachire ni yam say Genesis enyakopon ball Adam yo ka say Adam a voice out a ball de huro ma obi ehun say we enemy fem padem dompe mu dompe
oba no kasa
nti radio adwuma ne the honest
here and right there just one there
osi we nti ho na enua ho nyina o ka kire mo say we ne dompe mu dompe
no wonder say we share for kasa
hono ne radio adwuma no
share for kasa Let's see ya juma no Bible quotation tachire.
Bible quotation tachire.
Na wo juma Bible quotation tachire no.
Ene sempoyi. What man azimo. Abusia for ma ye free word na fe yenko presidential staffer. Wono ene sie ne dwuma de gina e ba ni nkronko local government decentralization afi rural development a. Onyanfo Dennis Miracle Apache wono na nso ne wokasa. Dan nkasa gina ayetia wa nkasa gina de say obe Ghana mampani Nana Adagu for the free 2017 ni mo be pese sembre no. Ahodo pidwan wa yedema ahodo ahodi egu akwemu no wa yade papa e de no ahodo wa ye no obobo so na ni mu do bose wo mo bibi nti e wonya tumachi wona kasa adwuma omo ahuma akwemu do me kire disability foin Ghana ban entime nyina ni emfi won so kura obo no modene ahodo pidwan wo mu atise wona kasa nya fa so bebre no de free Ghana mampani Nana Adago fato so de ma wo kan nsem nyina ro se Ghana ban atimi adnya boa na ne mu no esika ahodo wa watimi dia hyimu titi ne se 331 million Ghana cedis na otundi aboa wo ma bibi nti wonya atumachi wankasa onimadiyo mu no mche disability foin ne nu kwa mu no je bibia se wo hwe o memu a nipa dodo a wontimi nya saa no wei no otumi abo wo mo kwasonko so a won Ghana mampani etimi bo won no 2995 ne nu mu no ana won ankasa watimi enya sika pa ene ahodo a wode abo wo no 59400 de ekire kra ne nu mu no je se ne Ghana mampani na Donkford watimi abo wo o sika fam woni no hodo gina no wo ma wotimi bo won se wonyi sika we mfan emodo tire ana won fan hye won bibia se no edno 59400 de ekire a wotimi mo sika podo a hode hye bibia se ne kase mo no je se Ghana ban abo no mbode a ogusu a wo hwe sa no ma wegina obetumi akoso na se no nkase bo nya akonya sonko a okasa sonko do nya for Dennis Miracle Apache eka ye nie
If 2017 no aban edid a total of 331 million towards persons with disabilities and South Africa we know about 59,040 persons with disability and out of that 59,040 no 52,995 of them there are buying more capital because among Jedamo Franco and no crampo what the disassemblies do under the direction of government they say old comes carry money keke ni panic keke the mum but so they are on this can look at portray na social warfare for ADHD am make sure say or the akwakoye it be say come Facebook wall the man am MC you know they come Facebook wall now search PWD we do several events and the activities are mako PWD for the do shops stores they do see akwahwe niama omudi sika na bob na eden aye and this is 62,995 of such people I have spent over 246 million on these people. Another 6,045 persons with disability there. I buy a support your web, startup kits, any tools. So be what you see at the pump until you have sewing machine, knitting will be any ironing board be need to be at the pump that they I buy the money. Will be what or a hairdresser until you have container kit where you know when you have a hair dryer and then Rolex and then Ahwaka there now buy the amount of container mono. Yes, see container need now complete that app. You know how a power pabwa will be a shoe, will be a sandals. And see those people have also be provided any strategies are about putting in place since 2017. It must be consolidated. See a bomb by near Semukina, a ma former very, very vibrant active person. Formerly no your regional secretary for OT region and later other regional minister. Kasa a person with disability and special needs, which I'm sure you are very much aware of. See, or no, and I'm pound say boa emfa Ghana henyina all our brothers and sisters and citizens with special needs, special disability, and vulnerable. Nano. Near rally behind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's vision going into 2025.
Opania tini king presidential staffer for Dennis Miracle Apache Watchim Sena Ghana Mampany Nana and Uncle Tumbo Homatepa. I'm a woman bibinti to mature one casoni petrium disability for ye with your bomb quaso Kundachi and Osaka Biose. Ghana by a shepa or dear Atun Ankasa and also sell Basha now one more bibin to want to win the Bibia now what did mature one casoni medium what me at the upper woman now send with your boy more quaso cosono. Did not idea yes bi o manaso kwa de nusu mo che se de Ghana mampani why san hia ho ye bio amana bro so se ne wo ye kane no sei eno so oka adefa hu
the boss out the share person's disability and say the kind of such a year mabobo si gina every 2017 better no we make sure that going into 2025 no obese buke na cry mi mo na nipa do na to be cry there in your so far so the person you know is going to ensure say you will recruit close about 1,000 special education teachers. We do say it was special schools. Maybe constituency. There were special schools. So there were 4. Say almost 5. We have school for the blind. Ukapman school. And was special students. There were Mampong school for the deaf, which is the basic school. I say Mampong secondary technical school for the deaf, which is the senior high school. But they need a lot of teachers. They need a lot of instructors. Special schools, you know, number of teachers over here can say more because the teacher-student ratio should be more so that they can have the needed attention. But we don't have it. It's a commitment to them is to recruit 1,000 special education teachers and retrain the current teachers now on how to focus on the special needs students in the current dispensation. He's also committed to train more speech and language therapists and occupational and behavioral therapists. One more example. How is it say and then a lot of our public institutions are you need some of these speech and language therapists and the instructors and the sign language for our typically when you go to a major hospital there should be somebody with a sign language and skills of which we at least these are things that are very important to ensure that we are building an all-inclusive society where every single citizen is given the needed resource to be able to thrive. And for the first time in the history of this country, no presidential candidate has ever had such a special focus on persons with disability like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is doing.
Opania tini king for Dennis Miracle Apache Watchim Sena Ghana Mampany Nana Adan Kwaku for the 2017 Ghana Prince Assembly 1 year in Pemona for month binima bibinti onya to machu o wanka sanu nipademu no timampo no boso mako e ache no
yanto akase bono eso mi rampo mre hu nsem emo na Komfa Anokye teaching hospital na medro doctor for ho no mo eche se wo mo ebe omo tietia se anadwia sabira making kan kase ya kwapem ochina no pa hehwiensi sakra bia amade ne gina yo masie ne se wo mo ebete atua ya che se wo bia ye do beba ho foforo bia nyaade so wo mbehwe wo omo ho ndi omanya bedru ho de daja omo ntumi hwe manipa ne nwunti ne wo mbehwe wo na wo afa ne di wo wura mu de ene so ofiri he ofiri referral hospital be na eba said ye na aye wo ene omo nhwe na wo matiate yo mpeso omo tie nyina se kire ne se wo mo che so omo to no ma no members ni bi mecha doctor for makomako aduonu 20 wo mo nsaka craft atenten ne brofo eguso anya asam keto ne tenten ntiatia nyina se ba bia mo che ne bongro no amotie mu no muntu firi ho no mo na saa bongro no ya de ama ankura bi se won fa me na adwuma nti ne muntu mfiri ho eno omubuafo no mo che se so munya ba bi na de a ene nka number of hours ye obetena ho no mo dia ye adwuma no ene ore ba kwakone nam no do akwa hwedai adem ansa no baba ya adwuma san so obi e woni ba bi te de wo ye de so de eba adwuma enti no mo che se o mo ni perifo akọ meeting de ne so ansai enti nyankopon ya aduma wo kina se bibia ansesa na dwedi a doctor for omo Komfa Anokye se wo mo tie tua na omo kyeremu a wo mo kuba tan na nkasa Ghana Medical Association ma ka kyerɛ wo mo ekitaye enti nyankopon ya aduma wo kyerɛ se bibia ansesa de a doctor for wo Komfa Anokye se wo mo tie tua san so mo nya ba bi na bongro omo dam no ye de krata abra wo mo se ni mo yei wo mo ntu emfiri mu na doctor pa kwesi bedu ya santemantem ha Ghana Medical Association wo no na eyo mo kasa mafo wo ne ye ekasa ye ntie no.
If you don't have somewhere to sleep and you are given 1 week, will you be at work and where will you put your things? So every doctor in the hospital will leave where look for accommodation. If that is what is termed a strike, so be it. Nobody is striking. Every doctor if we meet and that's the decision, we'll all leave the hospital and go and look for accommodation so that our things will not be thrown out of our legally assigned accommodation. And these accommodations are not for free. We pay. Some of us spend personal monies to renovate these bungalows because the hospital at that time didn't have money. And it's been agreed they will be deducting as part of your rent. So it's not for free. So if we meet and the decision is all of us should stop work, we'll look for accommodation, we will do it.
Dr. Parker Senior, Common said Danka so mutiatia. Omu mutrim so mutiatia. Nemom. Say ya mane na watwe doctor ni ya mane na watwe se baby a wati bongura wati mu wontum firi mu no asesa ne nkuku ne nkaka nyina sa ne sa hemfa no de ko so hemfa no de ko wontum firi mu dia ene doctor ni so die no ba ene ade so si monten so no ko hwedan se ne obaba me hanum se na ma yi advert amano ma ya announcement amano se ne doctor so meti so hia dan wonya bi wo ba bi se ya opa no ne momu ye se so obetena wa na 1 week ni be so no wonya ba bi nsesa ne ne man kwode ene ye be yo ha pa nti omo kope ba bi atena enti so omo nyina pie so omo ko hwedan am ko ne nem ne agent akochinchin akwa ko hwedan ne adwo omo working allowance ne working fee ni ade na se mo mbehu ne se ye tuate dia fine anu ya mo amasem Dr. Pakosi no Ghana Medical Association ne fa ya wo asantemantam ha wo maka samafo no na wo wie ye no ana asantemantam ha so afo Honorable Simon Osemen say oh ewura nom ne nwura ba fefefo madama enye se bia ye tumo enye da bi na ye tumi nya sa na o kire ko ye be so kura na se doctor ni ba ko ba kura ni ho ye ho ba kire ye ntimo kasa mu si monte so na makwa kwa hwedan ya so ba hikrom ha pa ya enye kumase nko a sense konfa no chisi oyi enye kumase anasa santimantam nko na hwe Ghana nyina da enti mo kasa mu se monte so akwa hwedan ya we don't die ya wu enti no de tie ne se enye si ye tu mo samo sorry mfiri ba bia mo tie no wa bra ye nwine mo hokachi ni wa kura da bi de tie nyina ne se abadwuma efo ya madama mo so mo ka ho bie ye de mo ko da nyame ehon ye de mo ko yesiesie ba bi kama kaka trabia pii wo da nyame yeah, the more grunting, yes, be a tumagu monteso. Yes, Anna Senator. Honorable Simon, or Simonsa.
In the past, we may not have given serious attention to this condition, and it would have been a condition that may be treated as for the bourgeois, for the big people. But now it's prevalent. Issues of dialysis everywhere. But it's so difficult.
Some of the structures are sited on maybe an acre plot of land. If you have an acre plot of land having just a 4-bedroom house, we demolish it and we put maybe 6 or more of such buildings on the same plot to enable us to have enough land space to build the accommodation that we need. Originally we decided to build 200, now we've reduced it to 180 because we are sure that the 180 will be enough for all those that we are going to relocate. And this location is one site, that is one contractor's site. And here we have more than 30 structures. As you can see, most of them are above 80% complete. The only few will be around maybe 75. What is left is the fixing of electrical gadgets and those things. And after that, they will do the landscaping. And these ones will be ready. There are various levels of completion. So if I hear somebody say that we're giving him 1 week to vacate his bungalow or something, they should produce the letter so that we know the author of that letter.
Nti Honorable Simon Osemen say sakrata no a ya twero so say ya mamo na awotwe nti munturo no kro hu nkrata akro na hwan kra na de ma wo mo ubi ya bre obi fa be kire no esan so no wo hunu na eda ne kra no a ye de omo koda nyame ni hia so oh omo ye wie u de to zane ni aba so ha mu nchemu adua wotwe 80% complete politicians brofo ebi mo various stages of completion sa brofo sa na 80% say 1 week na ya pampa 80% no 20 na aka no 1 week no obetim dia ya na co-sign nenso Honorable say krata no omo ka ho asem no wonim ba bi efiri nti ubi a doctor ni bia bro bibia fa koma no
mo masem na ya
asem ya pe ba bi won share so any dynamic 80% maybe no 80% complete yo
80% dia no e book mu ni atwere
sir
mass ya calculated 80%. the obesi dan no de
aka doors ni windows na bia tiles be painting painting
o de ahwese no mo si dan
no kan o mo 80%
kro the cement be wi no oboa omu nwie hwe enu bia
80%
edi 1% ade bia ye kan apese de ba se so wan hwani complete de 80% apese for de ye 2 bi omo ka 80% enya fe
we ye agent we de agent a doctor for no na what pay you to we ye agent
for penny for the doctor for ne de o so until last time me ka say asase bia otesu bia ya ton dada depend ba so me kan ya me se depend ba no ka so obagina de we ni hwe ka
mazi for good evening mo ho ya de no 11 for
what so na wudi pa ni ba ni bi wa woni se ka wagina de wo kon ba bi nti wo na wa pe ba bia wo tiri beto nti doctor for de mo mani kom na doctor ni be hwe obi a se gisi ono no ko pe na 80% we
no encho mo be wie we
ye nia na ban ba ye ka se enche so story kam ye nia ye dia paso be tim wanwani ye be princess emre afani ye kwan yista me wa aba ye paso
omo wie 80% omo wie sisi ana
na doctor ni na so hwe na se wo dan ba bia wa kope wo dan
konye ne wo he
unya bi so a papa be bitina that is all mani be bre bi ko ma nya mra
omo tena se ye be wo
empenfo ne nim se sa di wo so mo ye
na empenfo se 80%
omo tena ho ama de ne ye be dru ansa no maka se kope da bia do na de ye be fiase ma sase ye penti dabi
80%
ye nshase me fiase no ye penti ye penti ne to no na ma stam ha
kura movie wo mo se munim se ma kan hoyi
wona ma stam ha opin so akasa o so obi antwire da ho obi wo tena wo sa kopin se ye be du ansa na enti afa no kofo twi o mo da ho what you say enti entwe ma ye mafiase na watwi da ho we doctor fo mu hia dada oba bibia ntuo onu so asase na wo na dia bibi beba so
enimani 80% yo
81% abushama ye mfiri na afemi fa nko kwa biri isi na tesia me do call municipal chief executive NC ya wo oba santimante won hine ba opoku ajima bonsu odo ne kwa zo kasa na ne kasa nyina emeko no ma 40 me fom wo nyina ehia ye na modwodwe na afoma wese ne oba mpatemu no ma motumi abo hom so ne motumi hina afoma mfiri no a etumi atache wadwen afa won se o moba ye BBC ne motumi ye yenso zuo sei no mun kase mu ana yensen twani ofotome no bomne de hye ekokopie ho na hobusia mpanifo no busa se anya bia hu sima bodwata data amane mpanifo hye tetu ne kuro ma ne manfo mu mpate wo nyina hye na afo so adwen de fa na meeting kase am de hye mu no mun so adwen hu se ne eduma wo so de kan woni de oso yi firi mu no mo so de hye mu de matimi aya ne mabaso de hodopia mo se na mo fata de kwaso ko a municipal chief executive me kire MC ono wo kwabiri east municipality ni mu a wo hye Mamponten na unyamfo hine ba opoku ajima obonsu wode yensentweni ofatome no bomde hye eka ye tiro si chechi mo de che no enie
me ba ye femi no abosume nani baba anfi wa bisia no ben prince ni o je sem president baba da ni na kama ponti bia ho asem baba eni aba be kan ho asem baba ne ho ena ya san so ba ye community engagement ma san so ba ne ho entimi ye MC ya me na ye tintia e ma ponti ahemfie na kase we ya me da na se no se me kama obi ate se me obi a me na ye tintia wa na de hia titiru ne se ade hia ma ponti man abekunu ni nyina ye no ma yinu eye omo park astroturf no ene bie ya betimi ne pilots akasa a ma panyina ayinu a one da youth authority no Ghana ha our mama good assurance a pilots so me personally if sem and say ayi nyime ho ansa na me MC a wono so chewo se me mra obebo me na ya park na mai de tosu mi nu so no eye ma pontija no so te papa yo mu de idea te papa de yo mu de no ayi PPP ayi partnership ana se beauty no ye no e na me de to na ma pontija ni me de sa idea we to na ma pontija ni e ko fie mi ni se je ajetu anti se mi se ne sa kra ke wiga anti sa mi no ye no ne ye hwe se bibia emetwitwa na mu na no be ja to mama yen ni aye sa kabi partnership no na ye de wiga no ne ma na free high tension ase me de me determine say ye wiga no ene ne tire ya asane ataba eye BOT ana se PPP se na te papa yo mo de ona bo ni bebre so mo de o je ni se o si awo se ka se na ka tro mo se ba mo akwa ba ba ko oh yes masasa ka te dun ko ma ne se mesa so no ma ya another engagement ya wa de be ya o me office o mo form leadership no mra ni nyina ye ntena se ye toatoa na ehwe ni mu hu se ye solve no once and for all me de efie bi nu ni abosume nan
ma ben abusme kakra kan wo confidence we pese onyame na me so ne solve all the major problems in the municipality wo ka be
Abusia pani atini ken municipal chief executive betire MC no wo kwa bere isi mamponten asantemante unyafo onye ba opoku ajima bonsu no ne yesentweni bonkomo ane no chi na adwadi fon so mo nso wo mamponten wo enso nya bi seyi edeka che yesentweni ofatome no bomini edihye
Here me say, my point is that no one never cut down. You will be a something for the buyer. You are in a woman. If you find in the Iran, a good one, I don't let me a man offer to the Iran. I would be a same Iran to Sano. The Boko Scottish here. Now, I also live several good at the Acadian and better or will move up because a farmer. What would I not a Gary farmer at 2 months? I don't know. Train. Let's have a bit of Mama 40 you. And I got them out at the other so let me say, when you have tap, you have a tap, you know, as I woke up, I won't see that no, and then for why you don't think more? Why about a people more? DPP. I'm the market. The DPP, I'm the conductor Nakasa, the bread and I'm the free the jealousy. The question can say, Pass, the bread, and Chimuno, Amo, et me who's a desi, a died. I'm a Saturday, Jano, and when you have a Jano, my country, I think I see a fine in the Jano, and when you do,
Abusia anya tie timefo na dwedefo bi ni mo mamponten mrekwa municipal chief executive MC ya ho one omuhia na afo modwedwen kwan a na magodo pio metua ya na tuma boade o so mu de hye mu ne de o so mu yifiri mu nyina no mu ana yensam twani ofatome no bomene de hye kohye mu a one manfo bi ni bonkoma one MC nzu bonkoma de hom ye de atumani ma wonya bi etie
yamfa kase boron ko wiemo ewo enkanea adundum ho nsam emu na nansa yenkanea ne nyina sokra mampani de osim mfinshanso ni enum kaneda enso ya yedemu ye ni enim ja yete ho ne se de eti hyehye yafa na Electricity Company of Ghana ECG woni eton enyinam kanea no edema ye no ede aba beto dwase enye cable a asha asase ase rastin encolosion enkan cable bia te se de abanfo ne na ma omo kan no omo de pie tire ho no cable bia anye dada bia anwe na che bia anye cable no omo sesa bia na emom de etia ni se transmitters ni bi wo hono ma eno no load wo soro do enti load no ya ma no huru tusa na pai pipe na kan foi na edum enti asa de no o na de adondom no eba ehi adwene sa no na wukom na hye bedwafia abedwaku a wo mo eneka anyama hode ho nsam ewo abedwaku ne so ranking member no aye honorable John Jenapo ba sa asoafo wo sa aso ye ho no da energy enu wo kire se de ECG for beka no wo twen te se de infante for beka no mo boa anya transmitter bia na ya na load aye ma wo so na papa na adum bia de bi wonu ni hwehwemu a waye pa de etuamu ne se John Jenapo no o wose ni hwehwemu a waye akosi ase ne se skasem l'argent sika mpedede sika Sika sampa ena ama ECG for ho akire wo mu ntia yentumi nyankane anu ntinye transmitter sam na cable na fa hinkosi baabi anya hwe sika sam na ekuyan ya ama dondom no etete ya bra bossa no Honorable John Jenapo.
This is a problem for every well-meaning Ghanaian. This is not even about politics. If there's a generation deficit, let the industry players admit that there's a generation deficit. Let them be candid to Ghanaians and stop this hogwash of so-called maintenance of transformers. How come all of a sudden the whole of Ghana, areas being operated by ECG, all the transformers are overloaded and they ought to be maintained? And the maintenance schedule, instead of doing them in the afternoon, they are telling that they will maintain the transformers during peak hours. The energy sector is collapsing. This sector is the backbone of the Ghanaian economy. If we do not speak truth to power and continue to placate each other and deceive each other, very soon the whole sector will collapse and there will be no economy. We can't keep on piling this debt. But let me assure you that I will take this up with the IMF, because it's an IMF conditionality that we must desist from piling up this debt.
Honorable John Jinapo, Energy Committee of Parliament ranking member, and an insemisun yejina na enyumre nsam hodwa ensaka ne fi ha ne DAC na siane de anusuma dwuma for o mabadwuma pa kwame ofori aboaje akwasense no ofatome o wahene wo munyina eboa ye samfo yo for last rokoje aboa kra 94 years a onkita poma maya no Mrs Asamo Abelenda adwaketo ama potential enafe Emilia wo munyina aboa ye technician no daddy boat to former elder boat nyamini pa home use wono na de ahase no jemu edema DJ Yaso wono so ede ababewi enwumira kenkan fo ne ye me rantenu ya ba ma me efum wa kafena mene
very masam coffee Douglas Gidin answer na nyamini pass we news you home use ho
boat today you should know eja no omo twina di no omo eja no nyamini pa home use
nyankopon ni pa home use
o te da
meta mo so
revenue ba nyamini pa dada
home use ba
home use
da boat no wende ye kwade na ya chia Confirmed teaching hospital for nyina mo doctors no
omo nya density
omo na me chia wo mo isi ada